It's Graham here, living the dream in July 2024, and if you followed Fiona and I during the last couple of episodes, you will know that we've been staying with our fantastic friend Simon and his wife Kerry in this avocado orchard about 1,350 feet above Kona on the Big Island in Hawaii. And as you can see from the introduction card to this episode, it's time for Fiona and I to leave Hawaii. I know, guys, it's not a great start to this episode, but we're flying on board Hawaiian Airlines again, but this time on board one of their A330-200s. That is what's planned so far for the journey from Kona across to Los Angeles International, LAX, in first class. So the question is, guys, is this Hawaiian first class service going to be as good as the service we received on the A321 from Sacramento across to Honolulu 2 weeks ago? Well, if you choose to follow this episode, or should I say watch this episode, you're going to find out. Hi, I'm Graham, and this is my wife Fiona, and we have always had a work hard, play hard philosophy. From London to New York, and of course the Caribbean, we live our dream through travel. And of course, the odd cocktail. And here on YouTube, we create our memories while living our dream. So come and join us as we share our memories with you. If you have been following Fiona's and my big Pacific adventure so far, when we left off in the last episode, Fiona and I were en route to Kona Airport. And for the last week, we had been staying with friends who lived in the suburbs of Kona at about 1,300 feet up the side of the volcano. And with a very good road network around the Kona area, your drive from the town of Kona or even the suburbs of Kona shouldn't take any more than 15 or 20 minutes. What you've got to remember, guys, is that Kona Airport isn't the biggest international airport in the world, and as you will see shortly, it is very well designed and certainly in tune with the local environment, and it mainly serves domestic travel between the islands and the mainland United States. And if you'd watched my last episode, you would have seen the UPS 747, which comes in daily from Sydney and then heads on to Ontario, California. As you can see, Kona Airport has a very interesting design, and as I said on the video when we arrived here last Saturday, it's like no other airport I've been in before. And right now, Fiona and I are approaching the Hawaiian Airlines check-in desks, which are situated in these open-air style huts. It's really quite quirky. And because Fiona and I were in the first class cabin, check-in was very easy. And as we left check-in in the direction of TSA, yes guys, TSA, we're going to be in another open style hut like the check-in counters. As you'll hopefully understand, guys, I didn't film the TSA process, and as with most US carriers, Hawaiian Airlines don't offer a fast-track TSA service for first class passengers. And as we exited TSA, I want to say this, guys, I've always found TSA agents in the US very pleasant, and our experience here in Kona was no different. And as you can see, there is a little bit of improvement work going on here at Kona Airport when we visited in July 24. And as we didn't have a lot of time today, our flight was going to be boarding very shortly, Fiona nipped into the shop to get some presents. And straight after that, we were off to the gate. I don't believe there is a Hawaiian Airlines first class lounge here at Kona. Nevertheless, we didn't have time, so we headed in to this pretty overcrowded gate area. And to be absolutely frank, guys, it wasn't a very pleasant place to be. As we were travelling on an Airbus A330-200, it was a wide-body jet, and that meant there was a lot of passengers hanging around the gate area to board. But being in first class, Fiona and I were in boarding group 1, and we were called forward to board the aircraft. But this part of the boarding process, guys, was a nav geek's dream. There are no jetways at Kona Airport. It's simply too small, guys. So we were directed out onto this holding area on the apron next to the aircraft. So with the smell of aviation fuel and the noise of aircraft engines starting up, I was in heaven, guys. And it's just so rare in the 21st century to get so close to these aircraft. Airports tend to be incredibly sterile places these days. But in front of me now is an Hawaiian Airlines Boeing 717, which will be doing an island hop to one of the other Hawaiian Islands, of course. This is exactly the same aircraft that Fiona and I travelled into Kona from Honolulu last Saturday. But it wasn't long until we were called forward for boarding. Seats 1A and 1B would be our home for the next 4.5 hours. And who doesn't like a pre-departure beverage? A Mai Tai for me and a white wine for Fiona. And of course, being from the UK, Southwest, Alaska and Hawaiian aren't airlines we ever see on this side of the pond, so it was great to see them all lined up here at Kona.
Welcome aboard.
Aloha, mahalo ike kipa anamai.
When you're here with us, you're in Hawaii. So please give us your attention as members of our flight crew share the safety features of this aircraft and some of our favorite spots throughout the island.
With the safety video playing, it was time to push back and get on our way to LAX. And if you look carefully, guys, you will see one of the Boeing 777X test aircrafts, which my friend Simon, who lives here on the island, was telling me it's been here for months. And while I'm not sure how true it is, I have been reading online that the 777X program is currently stalled while Boeing sort out all of their problems with the Boeing 737 MAX project. Anyway, back to this flight, and the SID, or the Standard Instrument Departure, we're now turning right to head north and then back on ourselves before over the island and eastbound towards the Californian coast and of course the US mainland. And while I know you can't see it, guys, but just below us now is the beach that Fiona and I watched the sunset last night, and if you go back one episode you will see that video. Right, as we cross over Maui heading eastbound towards the US mainland, I just want to say a few things about Hawaiian Airlines and the A330-200 that we're flying on this afternoon. Hawaiian Airlines are currently rolling out a new fleet of Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners, and as you would expect, the business class hard product on board the Dreamliner is bang up to date. And while the business class hard product on this Airbus A330 is quite old by modern standards, what you've got to remember is this is only a 4.5 hour flight. So the fact that the business class or first class here on the Hawaiian Airlines Airbus A330 has a lie flat seat, guys, it's absolutely fantastic. And the fantastic cabin crew were really fast at getting the in-flight service started. And for me, that meant a Maui Brewing Company beer and of course my favourite macadamia nuts. And unlike the Airbus A320neo that Fiona and I flew into Honolulu 2 weeks earlier, there was no Wi-Fi. And for me, this isn't a complaint, because when I'm flying, I'm more than happy to be disconnected. There is also no seatback entertainment on these older Airbus A330s, but the awesome cabin crew handed out iPads fully loaded with movies and TV shows. But Fiona and I didn't bother because we had already preloaded our own iPads with plenty of content that we wanted to watch. But for me, the most disappointing thing about this Hawaiian Airlines first class service was the food. Quite frankly guys, it was just bland and didn't taste very fresh. And since getting home, I followed a number of my favourite YouTubers vlog the brand new Hawaiian Airlines Boeing 7879 service, and they all said the same. Fantastic crew, great hard product, but very disappointing food. And for me, the dessert was probably the most edible part of this evening's meal. But, well, yeah, who doesn't like Maui Brewing Company beer? And if you're wondering what I'm watching, guys, I'm actually watching Bank of Dave, which is an amazing British independent movie that's available on Netflix globally. When you're sitting in a comfortable seat, a 4.5 hour flight is not very long at all, guys, and it certainly wasn't long for us until the bright lights of the LA suburbs came into view. We were being vectored towards runway 24 right at LAX, and that brings us in overhead the famous In-N-Out burger at the end of LAX's runways. And if you watch the next episode, which is the penultimate in this series, you will know what I mean, guys. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon to be notified when that episode is published. And as you can see, we're on approach to a pretty foggy LAX. And unfortunately guys, my GoPro failed once again when I needed it the most. I'm really getting fed up with the GoPro and I'm considering replacing it ahead of our next adventure. Anyway, welcome to LAX, and for reference, it's just gone midnight on Saturday morning. And due to some gate issues at the Tom Bradley International Terminal here at Los Angeles, we did a bit of a tour of the airport before we finally came on to stand. However, this does give me an opportunity to sum up our experience on Hawaiian Airlines in first class. As I've said repeatedly throughout this episode, for a 4.5 hour flight, the hard product here on board the Airbus A330-200 is absolutely fine, guys. If we had flown American Airlines, we certainly wouldn't have had a lie-flat seat. And of course, the American Airlines cabin crew would have been their usual miserable selves, unlike the Hawaiian Airlines crew, who were all fantastic. In my opinion, the food was the only negative thing about this flight. Anyway, as we pull up to the gate, I'm going to bring this episode to a close. And in the next episode, I'm going to take over where we left off in this one, in a video that I'm calling 17 Hours in LA. So I'm going to once again ask you to hit that subscribe button if you wish to continue to follow Fiona and I on our adventures. So until that episode, thank you very much for watching.